So, they actually grow all the fruits and vegetables for Qatar, and by the way, the Saudis love this. Like before you start talking about Iran, and you have to understand, this is like a battle between the Protestants and the Catholics, right? Saudi Arabia is the Sunnis, and Iran is the Shiites. It's basically the same, and you're never going to settle this, right? It's about who, and the way it works is Iran basically is waiting. So basically, in Islam, right? They're waiting for. So basically, when Muhammad died, right? That was it for Sunnis. But in the Shiites, there was a cousin named Ali, and they were like, he's like the Pope, and they thought, well, he's the closest person to Muhammad, and they said no, and there was a disagreement, and then he went to Iraq, and they killed him in Iraq, and that's why there's a holy site in Iraq with Shiites, right? But the thing that Khomeini said that was kind of insane was, we're not going to wait for the 12th prophet. We're just going to make the world ready for him now, so that he'll be good to go when he arises. And that's how it works. I mean, people don't even understand the religion there. I mean, I don't understand, like, why you can't just bomb something and think, oh, that's how peace works. It's not how peace works at all.
That's how the deep state makes money, though. They need perpetual war, and they want regime change in Iran, so Iran can just become a client state and not be unified with Russia and China, which they view as a threat, in my opinion. Let's just bring Patrick in, because we've not asked him about this. Patrick, when we saw Israel attack Iran, then Trump bombed some holes in the ground, then Iran hit the empty military base. It was a bit like WWF to me. Everyone was just trying to be the biggest swinging dick and save face.
Yeah.
What was your opinion on what's going on? Do you think it was the beginning of, more? There's going to be more. US or Israel are going to continue and try and get complete regime change in Iran?
Well, I would just argue that it's part of a bigger plan, plan for the new American century. A lot of people have read about that and talked about that. The Arab Spring was in lockstep with that long-term plan for the new American century, where they destabilized a lot of countries through, online activism and giving people tools to revolt in the streets and whatnot. So I think that it's absolutely in the plan for the new American century. It's one of the last countries, if not the last, to fall, that they want to topple and regime change. We know this through their own words, through the Trilateral Commission's documents. So I would argue that there's a much larger plan at play here, for those who know. And I don't think that it's going to slow down or stop anytime soon, unless people have something to say about that. And I think that is the one glitch in the matrix that Netanyahu and the Trump administration are facing at the moment, because there is a massive public opinion change in the Palestinian versus Israel conflict. Data points and polls show that public opinion is changing. And this all happens looking at it from a macro perspective at a 30,000-foot level. What was happening around the time? Because I always look at the macro. I try to, at least, and it's really just hard to, because there's so many things happening all at once. But if you look at the macro, you can kind of see, well, what was going on around the time when they striked Iran? Just the other day or yesterday, we were told that Trump was made aware that he was in the Epstein files by Pam Bondi back in May, shortly after Virginia died. So I would argue hypothetically that there could be an argument made that this is just one distraction from the Epstein scandal. And maybe it's not, and it isn't really, because it's part of the plan for the new American century. It's been going on. It's been in the documents for decades. We know this. But weird timing that they striked Iran right when everybody started talking about Epstein. And I'm worried that they will try to escalate into another hot war, because this Epstein issue, it will not go away. And they could recess Congress, but it's going to come back, and it's going to be bigger. It's going to snowball. And if they know it's going to snowball, they're like, it's like the, what was it, Humpty Dumpty? All the king's men, all the king's horses couldn't put the narrative back together again. And so what are they going to do when they know that? And that's what worries me.
Real quick, Sean, can I just say this real quick? You know,
Take,
I don't
take,
think.
take your time. Take your time, man. You got all the time in the world.
Okay, I don't understand why people haven't like put this timeline together. Like the minute that he started winning this election, and you know the whole, and he was running on the Epstein thing and the Epstein thing, right? He gets nearly assassinated, right? Clipped in the ear. Like, what a clear message! Like, hey man, you can be got. We can get to you, even with the Secret Service. And I don't understand like why red lights didn't go off, and people were like, whoa. This is, I mean, isn't this what happened with Kennedy? Didn't he have Secret Service, right? Like there should have been an immediate, a long investigation into the guy that tried to assassinate him. But just like everything else, buried. Right? He's gone. He's dead. He's in the ground. We don't know anything about him. By the way, he had no internet profile. He had no internet footprint at all. I did a BlackRock commercial. By the way, I sent you that link just the other day about BlackRock.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Who's the client?
Let me see. BlackRock hit by 52 billion withdrawal from single client.
Oh.
And then it wouldn't let me read the article. It blocked it.
Just do a search on it. You'll find it.
Can you put us out of our misery?
Yeah, it's a BlackRock. One client pulled out all that money right as this Epstein thing dropped. Coincidence?
Really?
I don't. Yeah.
And who's the client?
They won't say. Nobody knows.
Oh, they won't say.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. This is a publicly traded company, but I mean, this is all a mystery.
Yeah.
I mean, it really comes down to this. All comes down to money.
Of course. And,
I mean, Khashoggi is another guy like we need to talk about. Like, right? Khashoggi was, my father knew him. He was an arms dealer for many, many years. And where he messed up, because you can deal arms to any, Islamic country that you want, whether it's, Libya, right? Whether it's, whether it's the Somalis, whatever. But then he started trading with Israel. And that's where he got himself into trouble. And that's when they basically, remember the Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous? Remember? Global H, this is Adnan Khashoggi's house. He is one of the richest people. And they had that whole thing, right? And they were showing his house. And that's why he had to move to the U.S. And then they assassinated his nephew, Jamal Khashoggi. I mean, he was in the Epstein files. Like, this is a known thing. Like, I don't know how much, like, it's crazy. It's like you're dealing, I taught kindergarten through 6th grade and middle school, which it's Lord's work I'll never do again. But it's like kids, you have to like literally draw the dots for people to make them understand. Like, you can fill in the blanks. This is, I mean, I know you're smiling, Sean. I mean, you've seen this. Like, I've been reading your book about Savile. Savile was systematic. I mean, I'm reading your book. It's mind-altering how systematic it was, right?
Yeah. Patrick, so we're talking about distractions then from the Epstein inferno. What about this thing with Obama? Is that going to have any legs, or is that just going to die down?
I've been seeing some mixed reviews on that, and I'm not 100% too knowledgeable on what's going to play out with that. But just going back to what I said on the last show, I would argue that we knew a lot about this already in the past, and I don't know why they didn't do anything in his first administration. Like, they knew this back then. Yeah, he had people who were non-loyalists around him allegedly, but it just like seems like another distraction from it's literally like they're playing bingo, like throwing out words and seeing what sticks on the wall. Obama, Clinton, Russiagate, this, that, XYZ, anything to see and to probe the audience to see what we'll react to. And I'm really happy that people like yourself and others like Diligent Denizen on X, he's hosting some of the like #1 X like spaces on Epstein, and people like you and him are getting a lot of heat from influencers, people in Congress to shut up. And I'd say that gives us a telltale sign that we're over the target, and that's why people are getting flack. And we got to keep the pedal down even more. But yeah, there's so many distractions. But not to say that what happened wasn't bad. Like, yeah, we know that they lied about a lot of things. The Vault 7 WikiLeaks released. The fact of the matter is that they have tools to hack into anything and blame other countries with false digital fingerprints. So it's easily, a hypothesis I could argue that maybe, perhaps, that's what happened with the DNC, because we know CrowdStrike was sued, the firm that had to investigate the Hillary email DNC hack. They were sued and proved, they admitted in court under oath that they had no evidence, credible evidence at all, that Russia had actually hacked the DNC files. So there's just a lot of semantics being played around that issue right now. But I'd point people right back to the Vault 7 and point them right back to the CrowdStrike. So what they're going to do about it, I don't know. But I'm worried that it's a dog and pony show that might not amount to anything. I'm not sure. But I know that Tulsi Gabbard said all these very serious allegations and whatnot the other day at the press conference. But ultimately, when she was pushed on it, she referred the issue over to Pam Bondi at the DOJ. So all this blustering from somebody who I respect, like Tulsi Gabbard, is just that. It's blustering if she's pitching it over to Bondi. What we need is military tribunals led by Tulsi Gabbard, not this limited hangout, whitewash fake investigation with Bondi. And shout out to the boat kid, the Aura farmer. I don't know if you guys follow like dank memes and stuff and whatnot in trends, but there's a guy who's doing that Aura farming boat dance out in, what is it? Indonesia. And there's a song by Melly Mel that's going viral along with that clip. And it says, "She trying to sell me lies, bleep, I ain't buying, bleep." He's like, I'm not buying it. So like, that's exactly like the vibe pretty much. Like if Tulsi wants to kick it over to Bondi, who's on bullshit, I would argue just that. She's trying to sell us lies. We shouldn't buy that crap. But that's kind of the macro of what the way I look at it. But again, I'm not the most knowledgeable on all that, and I'm eager to see what happens.
Just look at her. She looked like one of the NASA astronauts after the Apollo mission. She looked like, I mean, come on, man. She was like sitting there like dead stuck the whole time.
Let me tell the viewers we've got 15 minutes left.
Okay.
In this show. If anyone wants to call in, if you're in the UK, 07879 779321. If you're anywhere in the world, you just drop the 01144 7879 779321, and it's free. If you're on WhatsApp anywhere in the world, it's free to call in. And I also want to just announce as well, we are almost at 1 million subscribers, folks.
We're gonna get there.
We think it's going to happen. Either tomorrow, it's going to happen at the weekend. We think. There is the thumbnail that Ron has made. You can see we've got some of our heavy hitters on there: Lionel, Professor Moto, Baby Ziggy, Jen, Andrew Gold.
I'm not up there.
You're
working. One of the biggest responses. What's up with that? It's all right.
You're working your way up there, my friend.
I'll get there.
So if you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, help us hit that 1 million. We'll have to have some celebration, some live celebration as well. So we've got 10 minutes left. If anyone wants to call in, I will get that back on the screen now, the number. And over to you, Emile.
Okay, back to the Obama thing one more time. Like, let's just call it for what it is. It's 8 years old, right? And by the way, I love the efficiency with this case. They're like, we called the DOJ, we got the files right away, right? Not a problem. Just slid right through. You're talking about an election that you won. It's like that would be like a NASCAR driver that won the race and then wants to argue about someone that had cheated in the race with like a new braking system. Who cares? You won the race. It's not. It's a huge distraction. And what are you going to do? Arrest Obama? By the way, that's impossible thanks to Trump and the Supreme Court decision that a president can't be committed of a crime, right? Right?
It's very rarely they touch that class of people.
No, after the Supreme Court decision, if it's a president cannot be convicted of a crime while he was president, or it's just, so he's going to get off either way. So thanks to Trump's Supreme Court decision that he basically green lighted that he can do whatever he wants. I mean, I'm not against Trump. I just think, man, if you just like watch history, or even like just look back a couple decades and look at Nixon. I mean, this is Nixon all over again. He was so paranoid and had tapes, and then like we want the tapes. He wouldn't give up the tapes. He had to. So like basically politically, talking about all these influencers, they're all suspect. These are the same influencers that had the file that talked about getting it or whatever. They're gonna go whatever way the wind blows. The real issue is here, guys like Thomas Massey that really want, like, what we're gonna find out. You may not like that this was an op that maybe we didn't start, maybe Mossad started, but at some point we said we want in, right? Because it's all about compromise. And these tech bros that they're, Palantir, MAGA, Meta, Amazon, Google, right? All these tech giants that are involved, like they're all on the files, 100%. Every one of them. They must have gone there, and they went there for something, and it was either for the money, the girls, or the glamour, one or the other. I mean, you just got to cop to it. Like, release the files and come with it. As embarrassing as it is, you know what I mean?
We've got a few questions come in, so I'll put this first one.
Go ahead.
To Patrick. So it's from End of Times. Michael Wolff has roughly 100 hours of Epstein tapes from 2017 talking about the inner workings of the Trump White House. Do you think these tapes are keeping Wolff alive?
Great question, folks. And I just want to be very clear. I'm pretty politically homeless and a bridge builder. I try to unify rather than disparage. But I will have to admit, I wasn't really a fan or a follower of Michael Wolff's in the past couple of years, because I personally ignorantly maybe thought he was a partisan hack of some sorts. But in the last couple days, the things that he's been putting out has even shocked me. And I don't want to repeat what he's saying, because what he's saying is like heinous about things that implicate Trump and Epstein. I would just point people to that, with the caveat that I was never a fan of Michael Wolff in the past, but I have to give credit when it's due. I have to have an open mind. So I'm not sure what he's sitting on, but the things he said in that last couple of days are pretty wild. And maybe that is an insurance policy of sorts.
Yeah, I've reached out to him. I'm trying to get him on. Are you familiar with Michael Wolff, Emile?
Not really.
All right, let me ask you this question then, which has come from Susan, Emile. What does DC do when the distractions stop working?
Stop working.
Yeah.
Everyone gets magic money. Yeah, well, like I said, go back to Nixon, follow the money. And once you figure out where all this money came from magically, Epstein got this money magically from, Ghislaine Maxwell. Where did that money come from?
Yeah, we've done a lot of talk about that in the last couple of days. And we've got a follow-on question from End of Times. I'll give this one to Patrick. It's not that one. Here it is. Do you think Maxwell has the same sort of evidence as Wolff, hidden, safe, in case an unfortunate accident were to occur to her while locked up? Would that be like a dead man's switch situation?
I think she most likely has a dead man's hand somewhere, if not multiple hard drives backed up in multiple locations around the world. I think that one may be in Tel Aviv. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it would make sense if this is an intelligent operation and her dad was
100%. 100%. And if you don't think that her father trained her, you're out of your mind. I mean, her father was one of the best spies in the world. You don't think that he gave her a bit of training in what she did? I don't believe that. And speaking of which, why don't they get Tim Acosta, right? Why don't we call him to Congress and ask him who told him that he was intelligence? That's an easy one. That's an
Yeah.
easy one, right? Or what about the two twin secretaries that went to New Mexico and in the Florida case and said that they saw Trump and Clinton? You know, they're like, what about them? There's a plethora of people that you could call. Forget Ghislaine. You could, I mean, you know, you know who could redeem himself in this whole thing, and you're not gonna like what I'm about to say. You know who could redeem himself in this whole thing? Your buddy Prince Andrew. He
Oh
could.
God.
He could come clean and literally, you know, wash his hands and be like, look, this is what happened. I got involved with these people. He could come clean and it would be a whole new chapter for him, right?
So you got a question from Cynthia Patrick. She wants to know why Wexner had power, gave Jeffrey power of attorney.
Well, it's a question that I've always mulled around in my head, and I think that the answers that I've come to, that the conclusions I've rather come to, is one of two things. It's not just random conclusion. I've heard things from people online and reports and whatnot. So just what I've gathered is that some people have alleged that there may have been some kind of bisexual relationship between Jeffrey and him, and that Jeffrey blackmailed him. I don't know if that's true. That's one scenario. Another scenario is that maybe he was literally set up from day one via the mega group and Mossad. And see, I don't know, but look at who Bill Barr's dad was at the Donald School, and is that connected into how did he get his start? It's all questionable. So I don't know. It's a great question though.
And End of Times has just sent I believe this all stems from Trump. Yep.
I'm gonna tell you this. As a former street pharmacist, like you understand what this is, right? This is drug dealing on a major level, right? These are guys love money, right? And they have money, and it's like, look, you can give me, and it's really this simple. Like, I'm gonna give me 100 million. We're gonna deal some arms and do some trades, and you're gonna make 100%, 150% of your money back. That's really, I don't think it. And then in that, I think, like you said, I think the irony is that they wanted to get these young girls who are not compromised, because obviously, by the time they're out of high school, they could be compromised by intelligence. So they have to go to younger and younger girls. They themselves became compromised in this. And you and I know from our dealings, like when you are in that, scene, if you will, if you're in that lifestyle, stuff goes on. And I think the money is the biggest part of it. I think that once people find out where this money came from, who it went to, why it was there, I mean, it's not like you're dumb. Like we know from the 60s, whether it was Iran. I mean, speaking of Iran, let's talk about Iran-Contra. I mean, Reagan dealt weapons to Iran through this very same network. Like, it's not that hard. Like, I mean, like, use your brain. Like, the CIA has been doing this for many, many decades. Like, it's not that hard. It's just, I don't know that people want to know that's what their taxes are going to, right?
End of Times, Patrick, is asking about the fallout of Trump and Epstein over the property, which Trump gazumped him on and paid 40 million and sold it for more than double to a Russian oligarch. Anyway, End of Times is asking for your opinion on that, Patrick.
Yeah, I definitely heard some reports about that there was some sort of beef that arose around a property deal that I think it was like originally Leslie Wexner's property that had gone into bankruptcy or foreclosure or something similar to that. And Trump swooped in and bought it for probably like penny on the dollar or something like that. And I think that Jeffrey thought that he was going to get that property because he pretty much owned Leslie Wexner. So if he owns Leslie via blackmail or whatever, or he's whatever, power of attorney, he probably would have got deeply insulted that Trump swooped in out of nowhere and took the property that he thought that he was absolutely going to get and be entitled to. So yeah, I think that definitely was a part of the falling out, but I think there may be more to it, and I'm eager to hear.
It was over
what
a pool.
Evidence he had on Trump.
I know the whole story. It was over a pool. And these guys are fraternity bros. I mean, this story is 100% true. What happened was Trump liked the property. He took Epstein to go look at it, and Trump wanted to move the pool. Epstein ended up calling the guy, says, you know what? I'm going to leave the pool as it is. I'm going to give you 40 million more for it. And that's how petty these guys are. That's the beginning and end of the story. Like literally, it was over a pool. Look it up. If you don't think I'm.
Here's another question. Why did Barr give a job that he was not qualified for? Was he blackmailing Barr's father?
That guy. That guy. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's a teacher that became a financier. I mean, you know what? I think you're looking at this all wrong. This is a great American story. Okay. Hey, I think you guys are looking at this all wrong. That you too can drop out of college and become a huge, amazing financier. By the way, VH1, who took the video down, you should see the video of Epstein. It's hilarious. They're like, this man who loves school so much bought a schoolhouse. He likes the young girls. Have you seen this video?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. You should pull it up. The VH1 Epstein thing. They're like, and then they talk about young girls and how he bought a schoolhouse. Yeah, they took that down. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Question from Sharon. Is Trump protecting Bill Clinton?
Yeah. Me?
Yeah, go for it.
I can answer this. Okay. So you got to know your history. So when Clinton was running against Bush, right? Right?
Yep.
And when they were debating, right? This is a true story. So they talked about things that they could talk about. And one of the things that Clinton said that he was going to bring up and that Bush said no was Mena Airport. Now, why is Mena Airport? What did we find out about later? It was where Bush and Oliver North were using that airport in Arkansas, which Roger Clinton was running, right? Yep. They were taking weapons and supplying the Contras, right, and bringing back cocaine, which we found out later. I mean, I don't know why this is a surprise to anybody, but they both agreed not to bring that up during the debate. Now Bush was dumb because I think that his hands weren't as dirty as Clinton's in that whole process. But yes, they were both implicated later on in that whole Iran-Contra, Mena Airport, and we, from Freeway, Ricky Ross talking about how, the CIA brought in cocaine. That was not that's a known fact now. So Trump is protecting himself 100%. He could care less about Bill Clinton. He could care less.
All right, we're at the hour, folks. Patrick, any closing comments for the viewers? And you can follow Patrick and EMILE on X. Links are in description box, and I will put them in the live chat again now.
Yeah, thanks, Shaun. I really appreciate the show. Everybody follow Shaun, follow the other brother as well, and keep pushing the issue of Virginia. I think that's a big thing. That's the next big shoe to drop that they don't want to talk about. And there's other things like Maria Farmer's lawsuit and Juliette Bryant speaking. So continue to boost the signal of everybody who's talking about this. You can follow me on Instagram at the Suit and Tie Skater Guy, SUITAND, not the and sign. Suit and Tie Skater Guy on Insta, and I'm also on X. Thank you guys. I really appreciate the show today.
Appreciate you coming on, Patrick. Anything to say in conclusion, EMILE?
I just want to say thank you, Shaun. Follow me at DJ EMILE808 on Instagram and EMILE I am at X. And mark my words, this Candace Owens thing is gonna take her down. She's going down the wrong road, and when it happens, we'll do a podcast about it.
Be interested to see how it plays out. All right, thanks, guys, and hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.
Let's get to 1 million.
Thank you. Right, we'll let those guys go, and I am going to just let's see. There we go. Get that back up there again. There it is. If you are watching and you've not yet subscribed, folks, we are almost at the 1 million subscribers. So it doesn't cost anything to hit that button, and we'll have some kind of celebration. I think it's going to happen this weekend. And let me see if I've got anything else coming up. So Ron's got his show with Wedger scheduled. And we're still waiting. We've got Satanic Illuminati Bloodlines with Nathan Reynolds coming up. And I've been emailing David Icke back and forth. And he's really busy. He's finishing up another book. But he has agreed to come on. And I think it's going to happen in early October, hopefully. So thank you for your questions. Hope to see some of you in the next one. Cheers.